Okay, good afternoon. I'm Valerie and I'm from the Hollywood Times. And hi, Kurt. Nice to meet you virtually.
Nice to meet you. I'm Kurt Smeaton. I'm the showrunner for the show Children Ruin Everything. I'm thrilled to be here.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you for joining us. I liked the series, but I'm going to ask you some questions just to be a little devil's advocate here. So, I starting with the title, the show seems to be a little negative commentary on having children. I have a couple, and I was feeling a little negative myself raising them. I don't know if you have children. Um, is there a danger in such a negative approach to parenthood with this show?
Well, I think I have three kids,
Okay.
and I think for me the show came about from when I read a study about how people without kids are happier. They have more money, more sleep, more time. And I had recently become a parent, and I was like, "Oh, what have I got myself into?" But I felt that there was something, uh, that was incalculable, that was missing from that study. And so I wanted to take the show and say, okay, I'm gonna take the sort of the title from that study and say children ruin everything. But I think the show itself shows parents who love their kids and love raising them and love being together. And it's kind of an answer to that study to say that, yeah, of course you do lose all these things, and you it is difficult and it is frustrating, but there are also these beautiful and hilarious moments that you can't get anywhere else. And so there is a danger in people getting upset, and people have gotten upset from the title, but it's really just to sort of pose almost a question that the show answers. And I believe the show answers to say it's great, it's worth it, and it's beautiful if you want to do it.
Yeah, because the parents are sympathetic characters. And everyone, the characters are, everyone's likable and unlikable. The sister and brother-in-law, the mom, even the kids. Is this an overstatement designed to account the premise of kids ruining everything from home life to other family to single friends who are also unlikable, maybe?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't want anyone to be unlikable. I think like there are challenging relationships when you've raised your two kids, and there are challenging moments, and there are challenging moments when people outside your family, make judgments or make you feel that somehow you're not doing a good job. And I definitely wanted that to to be part of the show, because I think that's a part of parenting now. Not only are we hearing about the deficiencies in the way we raise our kids from maybe the people around us, but now, of course, there's a million blogs and a million books and a million podcasts to tell us, what we're doing wrong. And I did want to have that sort of difficulty, and parents feeling like they're being judged. But ultimately, the show is about the things you lose when you become a parent and the things that you gain. And so it feels like, geez, it's hard to just even have a nice meal. But the time together with the family and introducing kids to new foods, and that journey, that culinary journey along the way, with kids, developing their tastes or whatever, that can be really fun. It can be really interesting. It can be frustrating. It can be funny. And I think it's a ripe place to start telling stories.
Yeah, I mean, Astrid's fixation on having another baby is laughable. I mean, does that spotlight the inner struggle between life before kids and the lovability of infants versus the frustration with small children?
Well, I don't know that like there's ever like, some people for sure are like, we're going to plan, we're going to have this many kids, and that's what we're going to do, and they execute that plan. But I believe that for a lot of people, it's an emotional thing. And it's not like I've decided to do this, but I had this conversation with my wife. When I created the show, we had two kids. Now we have three. And this is, sometimes there's this argument where you're like, hey, well, we've got two, they're healthy. Like, I don't know if we have the space for another one. I don't know if we have enough money for another one. And the other side of that argument is, I want one, our family's not done. And those two arguments do not intersect necessarily. And so you got to find some way to navigate, like what is the emotional, I want to have another baby, I want our family to be bigger, with, this sort of logical argument about like, well, look at the bottom line of it. And I think, I don't know, I know a lot of people who, especially when their kids are 3 and 4 and they've reached this really sort of cute age, and they're like, another, I can handle it. They forget somehow the diapers and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
And they get themselves into another kid. And I honestly, I'm glad that we have 3. I really love having a bigger family, and I was, happy to be wrong about it. Okay. Well, I wasn't wrong though. I wasn't wrong. It's more expensive. There's less room, but I love it. I do love it.
And another one?
No. I had. No, that was it. I went and I got the snip, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is like, are they boys? Are they girls? I mean, sometimes with families, they want the different gender.
That's right. They've had 2 girls and they're gunning for a son, or the opposite.
Yeah.
And, yeah. There is that sort of like, people are. I definitely. I have a friend. They had 3 girls, and they're like, let's go for a son, and they got a 4th girl.
Of course,
and,
yes.
It's great. It's
right.
You got kids, and it's great. But for sure, there's lots of different reasons. Sometimes there's a surprise, and there's lots of different reasons why families grow. But I do believe there's something very honest about having this emotional. That's not necessarily, she's going back to work. They're finally out of diapers. It's like they can move on from this sort of stage of having tiny kids, and yet there's this emotional sort of pull the other way. And I believe that to be true for some people, and I definitely have talked to a lot of people who have experienced that sort of urge, that yearning to either grow their family or to have their first, or whatever it is.
I just have like one kind of final question, but it's kind of a 2 or 3-parter. The kids come between the parents at times, as they do, highlighting how children alter adult relationships. Does the reigning extend to James and Astrid's relationship too? Is there hope for a way out of the conflict, or are we doomed to fail on every level because of parenthood? What, if anything, is the solution?
Yeah, that's a great question, Valerie. And I think, one of the big premises and sort of engines of the show is to say every week, like, what's a thing that we used to have that has now been altered forever by kids? And, last night's episode was about intimacy, and how it's difficult to have intimacy. And sometimes even when the kids aren't there, there's so many other things to accomplish, and sometimes you don't make room and time for yourselves. And I think that is a really common pitfall for couples, to sort of like really focus on the kids and to not take care of their relationship. But I do believe that, especially as the series progresses, that this couple makes time for each other. They love each other. They support each other. And they're both parents. I think they're a good team, which is something that was important to me, to not have like the husband be like the 4th kid or whatever. But yeah, I do believe that they work hard and have a good relationship, and have a relationship that is aspirational, especially as the series goes on. They do make more and more time for each other. And I'm, editing an episode right now for the 3rd season about, getting babysitters and how difficult that can be. If you lose your standard, your go-to babysitter, finding someone else at last minute can be difficult. But yeah, I do believe it's really, really important, just in life, to make time for that relationship, and in the show as well, to sort of reflect that.
Well, I know you're editing, and I know how patient you have to be with that, and how much time it takes. And I don't hear any kids in the background screaming, so you're very lucky. right
Yeah,
now.
they're older now. My son actually just this week turned 13. So I've just, crossed
Congratulations, you have a
this
teenager
threshold.
in the
I
house.
have a teenager in the house, and then I have a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old. And so they are all able to sort of like, you know, play with each other, keep each other occupied,
Yeah,
keep themselves occupied. And they are, I think, out in the yard right now, goofing around. So
cool.
um, I lucked out.
Yeah, good timing. Well, let's not spoil it. Let's not ruin it for you. So again, thank you so much, Kurt. It's a nice to meet you virtually, and I hope we can meet one day in person.
I hope so too. Thanks so much,
Yes.
Valerie.
All right. Thank you so much. And we are the Hollywood Times today, and keep us in mind, and we'll make sure we send the CW a link, and you'll get it. So beautiful.
Fantastic. I
Thanks
appreciate
so
it, Valerie.
much. All
Take
right.
care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.